You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Before we get to life advice, I think I need a ruling from you guys. And I got the finger yesterday in a traffic incident. I feel like the middle fingers are flying a little more frequently lately. Maybe it's the last couple of years. I don't know if we can blame millennial entitlement. That doesn't seem fair. So we're not going to do that. So
was it your fault?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. I don't think it was, but I'm open to potentially realizing it's on me. So that's what a leader does. Wait a minute.
We've come full circle. Yes.
Yeah. We've got Christopher Nolan film noir filter over here for Kyle today. What's going on? What is that? Husky do?
I'm running out of filters and I'm saving the shocking ones for when we don't have as much going on in the off season for football. So just a black and white filter. Just a regular black and white filter.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen it. It just threw me off. All right. So here's the situation. 2-lane main artery Rosecrans, actually. I'm headed back into Manhattan Beach, leaving the gym. No big deal. And I needed to get left, go to the grocery store. So you know how those left light arrows are, you got to kind of catch it, because if you don't catch the arrow, you're going to be stuck waiting. And, who's in a hurry? I guess we all are, even though we shouldn't be. So whatever. So as the two lanes are merging, the two lanes are going straight, and then the third lane sort of creates itself, right? The third lane starts to open up and exist. So there's 3 red lights all the way across. There's some other details that I could get into, but I don't want to start turning this into a traffic court situation. So we've all got reds, right? So the 2 straight lanes have reds, and then the arrow has a red, but I know the light. So I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to want to get into this left lane so I can get behind a couple of the other cars here and make sure I catch the light at this time. So as everybody usually happens in a red light, like you just go up to the car that's right in front of you, right? It's pretty common. And there was a pretty tricked out all black windows Mercedes-Benz, I think. I'm not sure. Benz, Beamer, foreign car, coupe.
Bentley.
Yeah, right. And she decided she was just going to stop like 8 lengths behind the car in front of her, which blocked off my entrance to get into the lane. So, I kind of pulled up and then, was turning my wheels so that it was clear that I was like, hey, I'm getting ready to get into this lane that's about to exist, a couple car lengths up. If you just move up a little bit, I can get into it. And she just decided, nah, I'm not going to do it. So I couldn't see if she was on a phone. I didn't know if it was male or female even at that point. So I then kind of got like, let me get up a little bit more here. And she inched up a bit. And it was almost like, I'll move up a little bit to show you that I could, but then I'm actually not going to.
Yeah, it's almost worse. That's worse than doing nothing.
This thing. And I never honk, but I was just like, hey, now look, her position could have been, who gives a shit? They're all red. It doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere. I can let you in the lane. You're not going anywhere either. What I'm arguing is, but positioning wise, the sooner I'm in position, the better chance I have of making this arrow, because it's your only chance of getting across. And if not, then you go back through the cycle. Again, grand scheme of things, none of us need to get there as fast, but that's just not how any of us work when you're in the car. Like when you're in the car, you're like, why are you not pulled up? Pull up these car lengths. Let me get into this lane and I'll get into my position. And so I honk. And she just decides she's not going to move. And the light goes green. So now she has to let me in. And now I'm not sure if I'm going to make the light or not. And then I kind of was, I just leaned over to just look at her to be like, what's your deal? Yep. What's going on with you today?
Here we go.
And just window down, finger right out of the window.
How was your honk? Were you graceful in it?
Tap.
Okay. Sometimes they get away from you. Sometimes
less than a quarter, no.
From you. Okay.
Sort of like some of those Indonesian notes that you hear about that are even quicker than a quarter note. I don't know if you understand any of this vocal stuff they do. These people sing 2 notes at the same time. It was quicker than that.
It was a polite honk, if you will.
Yeah. The only thing I could be accused of on the aggressiveness was I started pulling up to be like, hey, like, how you kind of like, so you hope you see it. Look, again, if I'm in a situation where I have, people tend to more today than ever before lose focus a bit, as you're stopped in traffic. you're like, oh shoot, I need to get up, or you kind of see in your rear view somebody kind of get on you. You're like, all right, well that was on me, so I need to adjust. She was like, no, you're not going anywhere. It's all red lights. Why do you care? And here's a finger. So
she was wrong and aggressive.
That's
yeah,
not your fault. But I think you would have
so.
saved yourself a middle finger if you didn't lean over like you wanted to see what the fuck her problem was.
Well, because she was still kind of there, like dragging. She just decided, whatever, like today's my day and everybody's gonna be held up. I'll add, she also had a Yankees hat on.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
So. I've always wanted to do, like, I don't know if it's like a YouTube show or something, but like get two people in that situation who are clearly, they both think the other one is in the wrong after a traffic incident, and just talk it out. Like I want her to come on the pod and explain to her why she wouldn't move. Like maybe she had a good reason. She probably didn't. It doesn't sound like it, but I would just love to hear her side of the story, because every time when you're on the road, you're like, this person sucks. They don't know what they're doing. And I just want to know what's going through their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no one is more self-serving than any of us in any kind of traffic. That's why I always use that theory of the four-way stop, where there's always like somebody who screws it up, and sometimes it's you. And when it's you, the speed with which you try to pretend it's not your fault is like the fastest thing any of us have ever done. Right? So like, even when it's kind of on you and then somebody gives you the honk and you'd be like, well, yeah, what the fuck, I'm just trying to fucking go, and it's like, all right, because there's always the guy at the stop, and it's always a guy that is like, oh, you assholes wait. Like, I just go. I just do me. And you're just like, all right, yeah, cool, you won. Us idiots over here going in order. Life advice, rr@gmail.com. Kyle, it's just endless. I guess you're just picking a few of these, so you kind of lumped them together. Are we anywhere with the Nigerian beast workout?
No, he actually said, funny enough, he went on a bender on Friday, because I saw him on Saturday. Like, I apologized. It seemed like he almost forgot that we were supposed to do it. And he was like, do I look okay to you? I didn't go to sleep last night. And I was like, oh, okay, so you didn't miss me on Friday. And he was like, what are you talking about? So that was okay. And then we really sat down, had a long talk about why 8 o'clock is not good for me and why this is just going to keep happening if we keep it at 8 o'clock. So then he says, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, what's the earliest you can get here? I was like, if Ryan and I could get our stuff together, if we can all get it done, maybe I could be there at 11:30, 11:45 a.m. But as I'm looking at it now, it's 9:45. He told me no, 10 o'clock. So we're kind of in the same boat. We're just now at 10 a.m. rather than 8 p.m. Hopefully, I think he made it sound like we could try for 11, but what can you do? I'm going to take a walk today. I got some 35 pounders in the house that I overzealously bought a year ago. I wish I went with like a 30 or a 25, because I could just do less with them. So maybe I'll just start working out in the old office.
All right. Bunch of questions. Can't get to all of them today, but I don't know that I like that your trainer asked you after an all-night bender where he didn't sleep, how do I look? Do I look bad? I haven't slept. I just don't know if I want that out of my trainer. Part of me likes it. Part of me respects the fact that maybe that's the perfect trainer for you.
He's a real guy.
This guy gets it, and he knows how to get the toxins out. But now I sense the hinting Cerruti ruling on this, a Ceruling, if you will.
Nice.
Nice.
Am I partially to blame in your timeline? Did I pick up on that? Did I detect a little
no.
Ryan and I
No.
stuff done?
I told him basically, like, listen, guy, after 1 o'clock, I got nothing to do. Why do you think I'm sitting at Frolic Room at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday? Why do you think it is? Because I got nothing to do. And that's
right.
When you're busy is when I'm not busy. And then, Tuesdays are wild. Thursday's wild card. Just with Bill, who knows? And then it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. After 2 o'clock, I'm good to go. And then he's like, all right, so sit around all day. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll get going. So I was just like, listen, I'm going to just keep standing you up at 8 o'clock. I don't want to do it to you. It seems like you forgot I was even supposed to be here. So that's fine. So do you think we could work it out at an earlier time? And he's like, all right, 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, now that's a bad time as well. I know it seems like I'm trying to weasel out of this, but I'm thinking 12, 1 o'clock. And so it ended up with him just saying, maybe I'll just be late for work some days. I'm usually late anyway. So if you could show up at like 11-ish, then maybe we could do it. It didn't sound real strong. That's why I'm going to take a long walk today, and I'm going I'm gonna pump some iron in my office.
Take a long walk. You got the 35. Do some overhead presses maybe. That's a good 35 one, right? You could maybe do some curls, some what are the leg dips. There's a bunch of things you could do with 35-pound weights in your. And why don't you ask the guy to give you a couple pointers too, instead of maybe going all in? Be like, all right, give me a couple exercises to work out. See if we're on the same page. See if this is working for me, and then you can work out the time situation.
I guess he told me it's going to be some magic shit, not magic, but he was just you don't even understand when you work out with me and you can eat whatever you want. He made it sound like it's going to be the best. He's like, I can eat whatever I want and I'm going to be a fucking beast per his words. So, I mean, I'm really hoping I can get in there at some point. But, I was thinking, I'd love to get those benches that you can lay down, but also you can put it up at a 90-degree angle. I don't want to be using this chair trying to do some overhead stuff. I'm a tall guy. I'll probably end up putting those dumbbells through the ceiling if I try to do one of those things. So I'm not really sure where to start, but I think it might be a good start to get one of those benches that goes to a 90-degree angle.
All right. Well, I don't know about this partnership. I'll just say, we'll just leave it at that, but we'll gladly entertain the updates. And by the way, the 35s are great. 35s are perfect. Curls, by the way, Cerruti, easy over here. Fucking.
Well, Kyle's a big dude. I couldn't do that. I'm curling 15s.
I'm not saying you can't curl, but if you haven't lifted in a while, just curling 35s out of nowhere, it's not.
Yeah, I wish they weren't 35s.
Who is this, Steph Curry?
I wish they weren't 35s.
Why don't you just do 20 reps of just flat bench? Do them close together.
Ryan, can I come over?
Some front squats. Yeah. You know what?
I'm kidding.
Fine. No. You're right. Because Kyle sent a text the other day about an event that we were all invited to. And I was like, yeah, I just don't really know if I can do that. I was like, you're on though. I was like, go for it. And then Kyle's like, we haven't seen each other, Ryan, in 2 years. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. And then he gave us a sad face emoji and I felt guilty.
Cut deep. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sharing that. And I'm sorry I didn't ask Kyle ahead of time if I could share that emotional exchange, but I'm sharing it because I want the entire audience to be part of the community as well. Okay. Here we go. Life advice, rr@gmail.com. Deployment night out, 27/62/195. Huge fan, long time in the Air Force, first deployment, been happily married to love of my life almost 2 years, feel incredibly lucky. Deployment is hard, but we do a good job communicating and FaceTime for a little bit most days. A couple weeks ago, a group of 3 of my buddies, 2 that are married. Okay, so here we go, 4 guys. Were given overnight liberty out in Italy. That would have been you, Kyle, in Spain. Overnight liberty.
Yeah.
Who knows? Kyle could have been a general by now. We get a hotel, hit the town, eventually ended up at a strip club. I'm not big into strip clubs, but have been to a handful of bachelor parties, etc. My wife has asked before if I've been to strip clubs and says she doesn't really mind for cases like that. This particular place was dead, but had the weeknight, all you can drink, €40 trap, which of course we all go for most of the night, and it becomes hazy real quick. From what I remember, we ended up getting a couple lap dances. At one point during a dance, the stripper tried kissing me, and I said, whoa, hey, I'm married. I can't do that. I did spend most of the night conversing with that one stripper, and things did get pretty handsy. But honestly, the night is very blurry. With all the boozing, we end up stumbling out of the club, something like 3, 4 in the morning the next day. I checked my credit card. Here we go. And realized I swiped for $900 at this place.
Whoa.
Don't know how much what cost it, but consensus seems to be they saw a group of drunk Americans and hosed us because all my buddies had similar charges. There you go. That's why they were so friendly the entire time. All right. Following the night, we discussed that we should not mention this night to our significant others. Ever since I've been feeling a little guilty. At this point, I feel like I have 3 options. 1, tell her about it now over FaceTime. She'll probably be upset and emotional because we miss each other so much and it may suck having this hang over the rest of the deployment. 2, tell her when I get back in a few months. She might be like, why did you wait so long to tell me this, though? 3, say nothing. Even though I'm feeling guilty, she did say at one point she didn't mind if I went to a strip club. Going back to the email, I believe the line you sent us, sir, the evidence you sent us counters that position. The quote in the line was, she says she doesn't really mind for cases like that, meaning bachelor parties. All right. So I don't know. However, I still know telling her is only going to make her upset. Is it selfish of me to tell her so that I feel better about it? Anyway, I hope you don't think I'm a shitbag. I'm a huge fan of the work. All right. You're defending our freedoms, sir. Can't let some emotional battle get in the way of that. Stationed in Italy. It's hot there right now. Look, I would not say a word about this. But I also would not be with anybody that would want to divorce me for doing something like this either. So, again, not saying, again, I'm not the template for marriage over here, but I think it's great that you kind of feel bad about it. It doesn't seem like it's your gear. It doesn't seem like something you do very often, if we're to believe everything in the email here. I would not FaceTime now while on deployment. I think option one is the worst of all of them by far. Just ride out the rest of the deployment, let it happen. I mean, I guess there's some move where you go, I'm immediately FaceTime you because, oh my God, I feel so guilty. And they ran our credit cards for way too much. It was part of the scam. We went in there, we got shit faced or whatever. I mean, look, you're 27, you're with your buddies, you're serving in the military, you're away from home, you had a bad night out, where the worst thing that happens is you get overcharged a little bit and, you know, you get a lap dance. I would like, could you do that one? Sure. I think it's the worst one of all of these. I'm leaning towards not. And maybe I have a little sympathy here because the military part of it, which seems stupid, but I just don't think, you know, it wasn't like you were cheating on her. If you were cheating on her and you felt like it was going to be some guilty thing you were going to carry over forever here and you're married and all that stuff, then yeah, handle that how you got to handle it. But this one to me, I don't think is severe enough to be like, I have to tell somebody I had some lap dances and then the stripper ran my card for way harder than I thought it would, because that's what they do.
God, yeah, guys don't tell other war stories. That's just simplest fact. Guys, some things just don't get told, right? I mean, when you're over there,
yeah, for the troops,
yeah, for the troops, they're afforded that secrecy, I think. But also, is this going to be on the bill? Like when you're go out and for a night and you get night leave, like, are you guys you're married, right? So I don't know if she looks at that stuff, especially that you're out of town, but I imagine most of your trips are like 50 euros here, 60 euros there. I don't know if it's whatever a hotel room costs, but if it's just all of a sudden it's like normal, all right, he's back on the boat or wherever on base or whatever. And then, whoa, what's this 900 thing? She might call you about it. I don't know. That's what I would ask you. Is it realistic that she's going to notice something is definitely weird about this thing, or is this your own credit card and she'll never find out? And if that's the case, say nothing and just keep on serving.
A couple things though. One, he said at the last line, if I'm not mistaken, was like, he's going to have trouble living with himself if he has this hanging over his head. Like, he wants to get it off of his chest. So listen, I'm with you guys. Like, all things, if you take that out of it, I think you just let bygones be bygones. Don't tell her, and it's kind of no harm, no foul. But he seems to really want to tell her, and I think it's kind of easily explainable. Like, your wife's going to know if you're a big strip club guy or not a strip club guy. It seems like you're a stand-up dude. I'm in the military. Good for you.
You never know, though. I mean, I've heard some weird stories. I remember there was a story where I was like, what happened with that? We're like, oh, they got divorced. We're like, why? We're like, he was addicted to prostitutes. I'm like, oh, I could see that would be a problem. She had no idea.
Maybe, but it doesn't sound like that's what this guy is. And I don't know.
I get, you know what? I trounced your point with a different point that actually isn't as irrelevant, because you're right. If he was big strip club guy, you're saying that she would probably know.
She would probably know.
No, I'm not saying everybody would know, but yeah, like strip club guys are pretty strip club guys love strip clubs.
And if you're going to be nervous the entire time you're in Italy because you just don't like the way that this feels, you feel like you're holding one over on your wife, or you're afraid she's going to look at the charge and call you on it, sometimes you just better get that shit off your chest, man. So I kind of lean towards just telling her.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're right. You're the only one that's married.
Is he not going to be nervous in Italy? Like, I don't know when he's done, but like, what if this is the first leg of his trip and then it's like she's actually not cool about it and she's not so happy you told her, and now you're in Italy and you're getting just texts, like massive texts, like the text I was getting on Wednesday when it was 1:30 and I wasn't home yet.
And you weren't even on Liberty.
I wasn't doing anything wrong. Definitely wasn't serving my country. But it was just like, what if that's it for months? It was all right for the next hour.
Well,
I was like, I'll be home when they kick me out of this bar and we can argue about it, or I'll just go to sleep and everything will be fine because I don't smell like perfume and I don't have any lipstick on my collar. Like, I'm just hanging out. But like, what if it's like that? What if it's
Don
like
Draper
that?
over here?
No, I'm just saying, like, it was just somebody's upset that I'm, out and about doing whatever, and there's nothing I can do about it except go home. You can't go home. Like, it could be like this for a long time if she's not cool about it. So, you weren't at a bachelor party. You were at a night off, and I don't know. I think if it's not going to get back to her, you didn't do anything wrong, obviously. I don't think anything should be eaten at you, pal.
It's probably not getting back to her. I'm going to guess that this one's probably in the clear.
Well, what Kyle said though, that $900, if you share a checking account and she's doing the balance in the books, like it's not that hard to be like, what the hell is nine? I mean, like my wife and I, like if I spent $900, she would not know, but that's just kind of how our finances work. Like maybe this guy, they're tied together. Maybe she does a lot of things behind the scenes and he like knows that she's going to find out. And if that's the case, that's a big worry for him, and getting it off his chest would be a good thing. And then he also has to do the calculated risk of, he probably knows how mad she's going to be about this. Okay. So is that worth you telling her being mad, or the potential of not only you not telling her, but then her finding out and she being even more mad? That's the balance.
I've been trying to figure out who Cerruti looks like today on the Zoom.
It's the hair, right?
Dialed this thing up.
It's the hair, right?
Okay. And I finally figured it out. He looks like one of the characters from Team America, the one that throws up.
He does have big hair. Although I think he was like blonde, wasn't he? Come on, I got like jet black hair.
It's the eyes, though. It's the eyes, and it's the bouffant that you're working today, minus the throwing.
I haven't had a haircut in a while. I know, just kind of let it slip.
Are you growing it out?
Not intentionally. It just kind of haven't got a haircut in a while, man. Whatever.
I realized another thing this weekend after watching Dune this past week, and then thinking about Harry Styles. Who's the Dune guy? Timothy
Chalamet. I don't know if it's Chalamet or Chalamet. Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet.
Charlemagne's the other guy. Different guy.
Charlemagne the God. Yeah, different dude.
Different guy. What are you going with, Kyle?
I would accept A or B.
Either one. So
yeah.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Harry Styles. There's something about the kind of effeminate 170-pound white guy with hair thing that's like Cerruti. That's his lane. He loves those guys. He likes soccer guys. If you weigh 170 and have some sort of foreign thing with some hair, Cerruti's going to have a poster of you.
I'm in. Yeah. I am a big Chalamet guy. As we've discussed on this podcast, I am a big Harry Styles guy. Listen, you got hair, you got to flaunt it.
Who else are we leaving out now that we've uncovered
well, you know
this?
what? You know who's my number one? This is getting weird now, but fucking love Gyllenhaal. Love that dude. I was team Gyllenhaal during the Taylor Swift stuff, and he's had the bun hair situation. Like he does it better than anybody else. So he would be top of the list.
Were you big into Orlando Bloom back in the day?
No, actually, I didn't like the Pirates movies.
I'm surprised.
So no, I know.
Kingdom of Heaven,
kind of like
Kingdom of Heaven. Come on.
Kingdom of Heaven was good. I'll give you that. But
phenomenal.
No, I wasn't a big Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley guy.
Legolas.
Legolas, well, that's different. He, long blonde hair. I can't pull that off, dude. Come on.
All right.
But Legolas is. I mean, if I was going to be a Lord of the Rings character, I would be an elf.
Tonight,
what are we doing?
Yeah, I know. We're gonna clean it up here.
Did the guy ever write in? Did the Bills Chiefs guy ever write back in?
No, Bills Chief guy, write in. Let us know from Salt Lake what happened.
I'm worried then.
Well, we had a couple guys that said, was the guy that ran on the field our new Chiefs guy, the Chiefs, the new Chiefs fan who went to the 2 game with the Bills fans? Was that actually the guy that called in? He got a couple pops in him, decided to run on the field because he was a new Chiefs fan, caught up in the moment. A couple people were throwing that theory out there.
I think our guy was way too level-headed to do that. The fact that he was worried about what was going to happen to him at this game means he was way too level-headed to streak on the field.
I got to tell you, that's the worst streak of all time.
Yeah, he got decked.
Okay. Well, no, it's not even that. It's that now you're going to miss what happened after.
Right.
And you're banned for life, aren't you? You can't go back to a game. My wife was literally like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know. They didn't even show you on TV.
You know, it'd be great if somebody did it like at an Orioles game. And they're like, well, now you're banned for life. And they ask him why he did it. He goes, I wanted to be banned for life. So it's no longer an option. I didn't want the option of going to another game.
My friend's a big Orioles fan. He keeps inviting me. I don't have to say no anymore. I just can't come.
All right, here we go. Last one. This one's a little different. The title is Boys Not Supporting My Twitter. 5'9", 160, relatively unfit, but I've been told I got long eyelashes, so that's something. I thought this one was fake, and it's so dumb that I'm reading it, and you're all going to have to suffer through it the way I did, too. But the eyelash thing kind of caught, I thought that was a little clever. Issue being, none of my lads are liking my tweets. Just got on Twitter, and I've been throwing out some fairly fire zingers, but to zero response. A lot of my buddies who follow me will bring them up in convo and say they are funny, but when it comes down to it, they won't rep me in public and give me that like. Not saying I do do it all for the likes. But when I throw out an 8.5, 10 tweet, so he's saying an 8.5 out of 10 tweet, and not one person likes it, it kind of rattles my cage. I think this is way funnier than everybody else does.
No, I'm laughing.
I hand out my fair share of likes, but never receive. Should I talk to the boys about this? Do I just suck at Twitter? Am I being a huge loser? For reference, my Twitter is, you know what? We're going to share it because we're going to read
throw it out there.
We're going
Help him out.
Right. So that's at Gil Shapiro, but it's not the Shapiro way we'd spell it over here. It's at Gil, Shapero 1. So I was like, what's this guy into? He's foreign, clearly. Popcorn is just a delivery method for the salt. That was January 20th. That got
Hopefully that wasn't the 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10.
that
Oof.
got zero,
Ouch.
no likes, no retweets, no comments. He retweeted
How many followers does he have?
22.
Yeah, you can't expect much out of 22, pal.
Yeah, that's just what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I just don't believe in boats. Those things are much too heavy. Someone's lying. Just got to figure out who.
I smirked.
I got 2 likes. Dudes who call elbows are the same lads who complain about tap water. Nothing.
I get it. I don't necessarily agree.
This guy might be overstating his Twitter, I guess, greatness.
Why does being in a Snapchat convo while someone is typing feel so dirty? 3 likes.
I think I would have got that a couple years ago.
It could have been, it could have been something. Still waiting on an Alex Leonard, Terrence Davis tribute video. 1 like.
I don't think. So I have a cousin who's a stand-up comedian, and I've noticed that when he'll tweet out jokes, like it just doesn't work as well on Twitter as it does like if he does it on Instagram or some other thing. So maybe Twitter's not the platform for you, dude. I feel like you missed the Twitter boat. Like who's even getting followers now on Twitter? Isn't everything kind of like bailing on Twitter? It's like kind of dying out. Who knows? I think the Twitter growth movement was like a couple years ago and you missed it. So maybe you should try to find like a new medium to grow your platform, because I don't think Twitter's the way to go.
Also, if it's your friends, like my friends aren't even like on Twitter. I've got like one friend that is on Twitter, and I get no engagement with him. And so it's just maybe your friends don't care. My friends, I
definitely don't.
I don't care about Twitter that much either. I keep stumbling onto it when I shouldn't. But I don't know. It's really not that important. But I hope what this did for you was worth it. I hope that there's I hope we could double your thing, and a couple of those people will like your next tweet.
He does bring up a good point though. Like you guys have probably done this. Like I'll see a good tweet, but if it's from somebody that I'm like not a huge fan of, I won't throw it a like. I'll be like, oh, that's funny. But I'm gonna be petty. I'll be Russell Westbrook, and I'll be like, not gonna throw that a like. I'm not a big like guy to begin with. I don't know. I can't see you throwing a bunch of likes out there, Ryan, either.
No, at one point, like 7 years in, I had 4 likes total. But now I do it. To like bookmark an article I'm never going to read.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going to read it, then I won't be like, what was that thing the Atlantic was saying?
I like Pat stuff. I like stuff from NFL Throwback, a good run from 2002, good Corey Dillon, something like I'll like that stuff. But I don't know. Other than that, not much.
Kyle said it before. His buddies don't care. Nobody cares. So that's it. Maybe this guy's going to grab a couple more followers, though. Who knows? Now the attention that you sought is there. So I don't
you might
know
get haters though
out.
Instead, pal. Just be ready for that.
Yeah,
it's true.
Be ready for the haters.
Not all likes and retweets, buddy.
I used to love when people would fill in for me and they would like tweets that said, "Oh, you're way better than Russillo. You should have the show." And I'd be like, "I'm tagged in it. Why would you like this?"
DM the guy in private if it's that important to you. Be like, thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You noticed.
If it reinforced your I just would be off and I'd go, wait, what? And I get like, oh, hey, Russillo sucks. Great job today. You should be the host. All right. Yeah, whatever. I mean, fucking happens. Like, I remember there's a couple things I filled in on and be like, oh, you're way better than the other guy. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I definitely am not, but people will just say stuff. But I always thought it was a little weird when you're like, you work with the person and then they're liking tweets saying that you should be replaced by them.
Yeah, but that's such a loser move because I feel like that person is just looking for a like or a retweet or a comment. They're only looking for engagement, and I hate that. That's the worst kind of person on Twitter. It's like, oh, you're so amazing. Like, why don't you have a bigger platform? And you're like, cool, sick tweet, dude.
That is so good. Now we're a little. I always feel like we talk about this stuff too much, but there is nothing better when it's like rando says the guy is like, you need a bigger platform. It's like, thank you. And because the only reason you're responding to it, it's not a like, it's the quote tweet about you need something bigger because you think your bosses are going to be swayed by this.
Yeah.
Like, you see what Doug 92487 said? He told, he told Field Yates he needs a bigger platform. And the reason I say Field is because I'm friendly with Field, so I know I can say it about him, and he's not going to be upset about it. By the way, congrats to Field Yates on becoming a father. We'll wrap it on this one. There was something that happened this weekend that was so predictable. When Rodgers lost, the people that tried to pretend they were making football observations when it was only about how they feel about him politically. I mean, that was the only thing. And now look, Rodgers didn't handle it well at all, and he thought he was smarter than everybody else by using a different term. And this isn't a debate about Rodgers, but it was funny because I would see somebody and I'd be like, that's not what this is about. This is about political stuff. But here's another thing I learned. Here's a rule. If you have a few 100,000 tweets, maybe you're not the person to tell everybody when the conversation is over. All right? Because when you're north of a few 100,000 tweets, I actually think something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So for you to then say, hey, everybody, let's all chill out on the commentary. You're like, are you you haven't stopped talking in 12 years. So
that's the serial killer's manifesto, the 200,000 tweets. It's like, wait, he had 12 notebooks in his house about what he was going to do? It's like, that's too much.
All right. There you go. We will talk to you on Wednesday. We get Kevin Herter Wednesday. Kayvon.